On our phone right now. I'm pretty excited about this. We worked hard on lining it up for weeks now. H. Ross Perot, undeclared presidential candidate. What do you say?
Yes, I would say that.
That's the accurate description. Mr. Perot?
Good morning to you.
How are you? And thanks for coming on the air with us.
Yeah, well, let's get to it.
All right. Let's ask a few questions.
Mr. Perot, are you aware of Howard Stern?
The one that I was supposed to do the mind meld with?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm aware of it.
What went through your mind when you heard that question on the Today Show?
The image of your privates, I guess, or something like that. I don't know.
So anyway, you are the front runner in the presidential race.
Undeclared.
Undeclared presidential.
But we're getting on the ballots in the states, you know.
Right.
Everywhere we're working on it.
Now, you're not on the ballot in New York, are you?
Not yet.
But you will.
Maybe after this morning we can do something about that, I think.
Okay.
Made it onto Connecticut yesterday, I think.
Yeah.
Have you ever mind melded with any other penises besides mine?
No, I haven't.
Is it possible to mind meld with a penis?
I don't know. That's a obscure Star Trek thing or something somebody was telling me.
Yeah, that's a Vulcan thing.
Right.
All right, let me fire off some of the. The biggest rap about you is that you don't address the issues. I don't know that I agree with that.
Well, I do address all the issues. You fire away.
All right. Well, first of all, let me start with something that's going on locally here in New York.
All right.
Have you heard about this gay statue?
Yes, I have.
Now, what do you think of that?
Well, I can offer up some ideas on that.
Yeah.
This is an issue that obviously doesn't need a whole hell of a lot of deliberation.
Right.
Now, I can't speak for the other candidates, but I have always believed in live and let live.
Live and let live.
But they ain't alive. They just dumb statues, so I wouldn't waste any time blowing their heads off. Bam.
So you're saying...
Gay statue. What is that? Fruity alabaster?
All right, now...
That's all that is. Silly cement.
Silly cement.
Yeah, don't let's get started having mincing marble monuments to homosexuality popping up in my America.
Let's talk
Use
about
your head.
All right. What
Next.
about... See, he does address the issue.
And not only that, very well, very articulately.
Yes. Now, what about the inner city? Let's talk about that.
Okay. Now, what made me a success as a businessman is the ability to see a problem and solve it.
Right.
Now, I see many problems with the inner city. The housing projects are seminaries of anarchy, and welfare provides no incentive. Drugs, low self-esteem, and the collapse of the family structure. And here we are sitting here and can't figure out why the Naggers are turning to crime.
Now, let me just hold it a second.
We really ought to be
No, wait a second. Let me ask you something. Let me ask you something. You just used a derogatory term to blacks.
Well, no, I said knickers.
The knickers?
Those are pants that we wore years ago, above the knee, abbreviated.
Well, how does that
fit
into the sentence, Mr. Perot?
Well, I think if people started wearing those, I wore them as a boy, and I wound up to be a billionaire.
In the inner city, knickers. Okay.
Anyway,
talk about the inner city. Talk about, listen, Mr. Perot, listen to me as I talk.
Yes.
Talk about the inner city, and talk about how you'd solve the problem of the inner city.
Well, it's my objective to deal with the inner city because there's so many naggers. Now
hold on a second. You used that word. Rob, let me handle this. You used that word again. You said niggers.
No, I said naggers. Those are people who nag you.
Right.
Naggers. Now you got a nagger on your show, don't you?
Who's that?
Robin. Now she nags you.
Well,
she's a big nagger.
All right.
Naggers.
All right. Okay. I'm sorry. We thought you were saying something derogatory to African and the problem.
Crisis averted.
All right. Now you solved the problem.
F you, Mr. Perot.
F you. All right. Let's get off that topic.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. Let's talk about drugs.
Oh, drugs. Yes.
All right. How would you solve the problem of drugs?
All right. Now, first of all, I would say let's go to the source, shall we?
Okay.
Now, where do all the drugs come from?
Where?
Bayville, right?
Right.
Bayville,
Long Island. Hey, that's where Jackie lives.
That's right. So then we'd surround Bayville with the U.S. Army, the DEA, whatever's needed.
Right.
We would go in there and arrest the Manuel Noriega of Bayville.
Who's
Jackie, the family man Martley.
Right.
And we would go in and incinerate all of his paraphernalia and contraband. Simple. End of problem. Next.
Okay. Now, what about our enemies?
Who, Kathy Lee and Regis?
Now, come on, be serious, Mr. Perot. Our enemies, the Japanese.
Now, see, we've got to stop being negative about this. The Japanese are not our enemies. They are our competition.
Right.
I don't know why corporate America is so rattled about Japan. We should be able to beat them because, see, they eat with little wooden sticks.
Right.
I mean, how competitive could they be? And they're tired all the time. They got those slanted eyes. Next.
All right, now, all right, so you're saying we
so
can...
they're easy to beat, is
They're
what
easy
you're
to
saying.
beat.
Oh, sure. We will have no problem with the Japanese.
Now, what about the abortion bill?
Pay it. End the problem.
Yes.
Now, what about Sister Souljah? Now, what about all these so-called rap stars getting into the campaign? People who are really not politicians are clogging up all the issues.
Well, what you do is you take this Sister Souljah and you buy out her contract from Epic or whatever label she's on.
Right.
You put a bandana on her head and stick her on a pancake box.
Wow,
Right,
now that's tough talk.
Minor emergency over.
Okay. Now, what about, let me ask you some personal questions about your life. What about,
Okay, I'm very open about
what
that.
about sex with your wife?
Well, no problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem with that.
Don't need a committee for that.
Come here, Margot. Margot?
I thought it,
Honey? Come here. Yeah, come here. Yeah, happy Friday.
all right.
Great day in the morning.
Does she nag you a lot?
She's a nagger.
Okay. All right, now, you know what I'd like to do? I don't think anybody's ever done this with Mr. Perot.
What's that, Howard?
I'm going to do a word association. I'm going to mention
Okay.
some problems, and as I mention the problems, sort of like whatever
The
pops...
first thing that comes to your mind.
All right? It's free,
All right.
free and rapid association.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Middle class.
Kiss my ass.
Medicare.
I don't care.
Sex in schools.
Just for fools.
Women's rights.
Causes fights.
Jesse Jackson.
Divides our nation.
Angry blacks.
Give 'em whacks.
Magic Johnson.
Nobody wants it.
Bill Clinton.
Are you kidding?
Leslie West.
Who?
Leslie Wesley Rockstar.
I'm stumped. Test over. I don't know that name. I'm sorry.
All right. Mr. Perot, I want to thank you.
Listen, thank you. It was my pleasure talking to you folks, and
Robin, any other questions for Mr. Perot?
No, I'm just
Wait a
flabbergasted.
minute.
He's given us a lot to think about.
Yeah.
wait a minute. One more thing.
What? What? Do you have a statement?
Margot,
Oh.
do it again. Yeah, right here. Hold on.
Anybody ever tell you you sound like Mr. Kimball from Green Acres?
Hold on. Hold on.
All right.
Oh, yazoo.
I like a viral candidate. You're very virile, you know that? Hello. Okay, thank you.
Feathers.
Very good, Mr. Perot.